I have a question. I was wondering, we seem to feel like it was always here Islamic terrorism, but actually the form of terrorism that we see today is, I think, from the 60s or something like that. In my understanding, jihad in the previous centuries was more when a ruler declared a war or some cause and you had to be in this official cause. How and especially why did it change to this form of jihad where you go and you blow yourself or something like that?
Don't you need a
Anybody?
caliph for that? Don't you need a caliph
Yes,
to do
Exactly,
the
but it
jihad?
changed. So
exactly.
why?
It
What
changed.
happened?
Sykes-Picot broke it into nation states, and the Arab world was not ready for nation states.
Yeah, so there is this great
Dep-
humiliation, but is it enough? Weren't they
no,
humiliated
it
before?
depends. It depends on when. I mean, this is always happens. If you have the power, if you have a military, you fight by sending your military, and if you don't, you do guerrilla warfare. You do assassinations. You do. I mean, even back then, I think it was the Ismailis, the Hashemites. I mean, the word assassin comes from even back then from the people Muslims who would send
The
somebody to
assassins,
kill a caliph. Yeah, like
Hashashin, Hashashin.
also
sorry, not
hashish,
Hashim, Hashashin. The
also.
Hashashins, yes, sorry about that. So
Yeah,
what
they
they
were weed
did,
smokers,
what
apparently.
Let him finish. Let him
no,
finish.
but they would send somebody. They would send somebody on a suicide mission because they were trained on how to go kill their target, but not how on how to get out. So
But was
even
it
back then,
civilian or like specific person?
I mean, they didn't have bombs. So what would be the point of killing one or two civilians with a sword and a knife?
You could
The
poison the well.
effectiveness of killing civilians only makes sense when you have like machine guns and bombs to send a message, or else it wouldn't like it's not strategically advantageous to just go with a knife and just kill random civilians.
Yeah, but it also
But they
doesn't
did.
fit because it's not when you have guns.
Yeah, but I'm just
Well,
saying suicide
assassin.
attacks were in Islam. We did have that, but
Right.
but not with like a bomb by just going in on a suicide mission, not being able to
Okay,
come
so
back.
not terror, but like assassination. So different, but more similar.
If you're going to
What is
assassinate somebody knowing
It's
that you're
also
going to
terror.
die, it's kind of the same.
Also,
No,
what?
no.
it's written that you should terrorize your enemy
Yep,
because that will be a shorter war because your enemy will be afraid and give up. And this
yep.
is also
That's
was
been
used
important.
by other armies, not just the Arabs. This tactic, terrorize the enemy. I forget who used to do it in Europe, but he would kill everyone and put their heads in a big pile and leave. And then everybody would see that is what is to be done. So they most surrendered.
Transylvania, I think.
No, Transylvania, it's
Surrendered.
Vlad Tepes, like they say in the chat. Vlad Tepes impaled people. They call him
Yeah,
Vlad the Impaler.
Transylvania.
Yeah.
He stopped the Muslims, by the way.
By the
Yes,
way,
he.
speaking of suicide attacks, we
Oh, I'm
were
sorry.
in
It's
our. No,
Hila. Hila. We have Hila. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna raise my hand.
I just wanted
Wow.
to hear the answer from Armin.
Okay.
If you can just shortly answer before we change the subject.
Oh, I did answer. Did I
Okay.
not answer? Okay. Unless you have a different question. But okay, when it's my turn, I will answer that.
I
Hila?
thought we started this discussion when you asked why everybody got so, when everything changed. I think you went a bit too far because for me, okay, we can talk about history 20 years ago, whatever, but the last 3, 4, maybe 7 years, people are getting more radicalized because of their phones, because kids have access to phones. So I think China, TikTok, all of this stuff, they do influence a lot about people everywhere. And it's like brainwashing 1984 all together with evil powers that they can pay Chinese people and they will plant any seeds of ideas that they want in the heads of everyone. And so I think that was like a turning point in the last, like, recent history, not like that far because I don't know geopolitics that far.
I just wanted to tell you guys a story about our childhood in Iran. where I don't know what grade, like maybe Jewish Tom and Muhammad could remind me, but was it in grade 2 or 3 that we learned about Hossein Fahmideh? So Hossein Fahmideh is a story of this, I think, 12-year-old boy. Tom,
It's
can you help?
the second grade. I think it's the second
Second
grade.
grade.
That's
So we're
7 years
about
old.
8,
Yeah.
7 or 8 years old in school. You learn about the story of Hossein Fahmideh during Iran-Iraq war. And Jewish Tom, can you correct me? He was 12, right? Hossein Fahmideh when he was in war? Yeah, which is an admission, by the way, that we had child soldiers, which is weird admission right away, right? So one of the soldiers during the Iran-Iraq war, who was 12 apparently, his story is told to us when we're 7 years old, that he blew up a tank by putting a whole bunch of grenades on himself and going under it and blowing it up, which doesn't make any fucking sense in my
This
opinion.
is mandatory
And-
for school.
And it's
Yep.
pretty dumb if you have so much grenades that are gonna blow up tanks. Why the fuck are you going under the tank and dying?
Grenades don't blow up tanks.
I just understand now, because if you grew up with such stories, that very sane. That's very
but
sane.
there are stories like this in Hanukkah, isn't it?
No
With
child blew himself up.
With the
No,
elephant.
with the elephant. With the elephant.
Yes.
Yeah.
What elephant?
Well,
And
the-
Samson also, no? Or did he
No.
kill himself or not?
No, it wasn't
blow
Samson.
up elephants.
No, that's a separate one. The elephant is Elazar, I think.
We have this guy. I think it was a Maccabeite that
Yes.
he laid and let the elephant charge, and then he raised his spear into his belly or something like that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Guys,
Oh,
don't
I mean,
compare
I
it to a
just
child who blew himself up.
I just double checked that, and Hossein Fahmideh was 13, but that's pretty
Oh,
close.
13. I'm
Yeah.
I
sorry.
think Eliezer was a man.
It doesn't make it
old man.
better.
What about like the whole Masada battle at the end?
Yeah, Masada. Yeah, I think it's stories of heroism like that exist in all
Yeah, but
countries,
Masada is
probably.
controversial.
Masada, they killed themselves, so they
Yes.
will not capture.
Yeah, but it's
But they
controversial.
didn't
It's
kill
not
other
by the way,
people
considered.
in the way.
We're kind of drifting away into Torah studies.
By the way, I don't know if you guys, I don't know if like Jewish Tom and Muhammad know this, but I read all the about this. During the Iran-Iraq war, they would come and give the children, the child soldiers, keys, plastic keys, and they will tell them that this is the key to paradise. So you're gonna die, but don't worry, we're gonna give you the key to paradise.
Mm, yeah.
So, and did you know about this, Jewish Tom?
Yeah, I've heard about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they also had this thing that when the kids were sleeping at night, they would wake them up, and they had these people who would ride a white horse and make themselves look like Imam Hussein, and they would wake the kids up, and like in the middle of the night the guy would come on a white horse and we're like, look, that's Hussein, and like, good news, that means that you're all gonna die, like you're all gonna be martyrs. And the kids were like, yay, oh my god, congratulations, we're gonna die, look at this, it's such a blessing. So like they brainwashed them like this to make them not afraid of death by making this like a good news, like, oh my god, did you guys see this? Imam Hussein, the king of martyrs, just showed up, and that means that you all get to die today. In the next battle you're gonna die. So these kids would not be afraid of death because it was given to them as good news.
And we laugh
I'm
and
sorry, but the
everything,
key
but
thing
the
reminds me
sad
too much of the
thing is,
Palestinians with
one
how like they're
my ears. Wait.
yeah,
One
one
moment.
moment. I just
Samantha.
wanted to say that it's like we're laughing, but many children actually died in this war. Am I correct?
Oh yeah, holy
A
shit,
lot.
yeah, I can find the numbers.
That makes it much darker. They actually died not that long ago. Sorry, Samantha.
I was gonna say, like, the whole key thing reminds me too much of the Palestinians, how like, you know how they have the whole key symbol with like pretending that they still have keys to homes in Israel and that they're going to return to those old homes one day. And
Wow.
yeah,
That's the Palestinian use of a very old idea. I encourage everybody here to read a piece of art called Hagarism. It's a book written in the 1970s about they found some records in old Assyrian, Nisa, what's the word? A church. They found records from the time of Muhammad, which describe a man named Mahmet who came there. I know that you don't like it, Armin, but they describe a man named Mahmet, which came to them with the key to paradise and a sword in
Right.
his hand. Therefore, they did not believe him that he was a prophet because prophets don't carry swords under our belief in the Mesopotamian sphere. And yeah,
No, I know that. That's actually that goes in line with what we're saying. That's actually mentioned in this book. What
yeah,
you're
but you
saying in
say he
this book.
didn't, but you say he never exists.
No. There was a guy that united Arabs, okay? And actually, what you're saying proves the point that he was not a Muslim. Because in the Psalm letters, all the things that they listed as his belief doesn't match Islamic beliefs. Like we don't have like a lot of the things that you list, we don't have it in the Hadith, we don't have it in the Quran. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't match Islam. I'm not saying there was a guy that united Arabs and started these wars. His name was not Muhammad. That was his title, and he was not Muslim. Islam came after. That's the point. And the stories in the Hadith are made up. But there was a guy that did that.
Okay, so there was a guy, but
Yeah.
the hadiths are, yeah, okay, gotcha.
The Hadith stories are
And
made up.
Asi, can you spell the book's name?
Hagarism, H-A, I'll
Hagarism
write it for you
with
in the
a
chat. In the chat.
with a single G. Oh yeah, okay. Thanks.
I'll write for you. Oh, Amir got it.
Okay.
Hagarism is the name that people gave the Christians gave to someone's
Tom,
mic
It's
is
do
open.
something with your mic, Tom.
it's Hajarism or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
but Tom, you have like a crazy background noise. So this is after Hagar, the mother, basically. So Abraham had two wives, Sarah and Hagar. So the Jews are the children of Sarah through Isaac, and the Arabs are the children of Hagar through Ishmael. So that's why they refer to the as Arabs as Hagars or Hagarism or Hagarists or something like that. Yeah.
Torah is asking about the reliability of the book. I know that it was written in the 70s by a group of some German and I don't know what else nationalities studied it and wrote it.
I looked at the numbers. The estimated number of young students that were recruited for war during the Iran-Iraq war were 550,000 students that were recruited from schools.
And many
Go
of
to
them
war.
were actually was sent to minefields to blow up mines, so the grown-ups, so they can fight better, wouldn't die in the minefields.
To clear the
Yes,
field.
the children were put at the front because the adults were better at fighting. So the children will die with the mines, so the adults don't die with the mine.
Yeah,
That's
they
how
just told them to run. My God. And what do you mean students? How old?
It doesn't say how old. It just says students.
Just imagine, tell the child to run in the minefield.
They learned that from the Viet Cong and
Oh, I
from
thought
the Khmer Rouge. They both did it.
Yeah, but you're doing them a favor, right? Because they're dying for Allah. Like you think that you're like how evil they are. But if you believe their religion, this is not evil at all. Like what kinder thing can you do to somebody than giving them a reason to not just go to heaven, but go to the best part of heaven? Go to exactly the part of heaven where Muhammad is. Like this is the best death that anything like oh you think this evil, there's no better act of kindness to anybody that you could do. But
Samantha?
yeah, that's why I disagree with like people who say like, oh, if you're raising your kid to be a martyr, you don't love your kid. I think that because it's like, I understand it's jarring to see like a Palestinian mom say she wants her kid to like be a shaheed, but I don't think it necessarily means she doesn't love her kid, because if she's like a true believer, then, an analogy I came up with to think about it is like, imagine you're on an island, stranded on an island, and your kid has appendicitis. Your kid is not going to live long enough for the rescue people to get there if they don't operate. And you have a choice. You can either give your kid a pain med that'll put your kid to sleep and they won't wake up and they'll die, or you can let someone operate on your kid who's a surgeon on the island, but there's no pain meds that he can give the kid, so the kid's gonna feel tortured for hours, but the rescue team will come and like, the kid can recover and live. Like, when you choose a kid get tortured for a few hours just to like live the rest of their life? So if you think like, oh, this life is meaningless, very short, well, it's like the afterlife is forever.
Yeah. By the way, I'm actually in relation to that. I asked AI and says during the Iran-Iraq war, it was common and state encouraged phenomenon for mothers to celebrate the death of their children rather than mourn them in the traditional ways. So they actually state encouraged it for mothers to come and celebrate the death of their own children. This is sickness. This is why I call this a
Sad.
sickness.
It is so sad.
I don't think it sticks in Iran so good like in Gaza. I don't think that today, if you had like to fight or something, I don't think that the people would like it so much to this type of.
Oh yeah. I mean, it worked for a while, but then the society rejected it quite quickly.
The Gazans are not.
Neither are the Pakistanis, by the way. This is, I think, that the reason why Iran rejects it so fast is because they have an underlying stronger culture that makes their identity. Like for Pakistan, for example, I think they completely removed the underlying culture and their entire culture is Islam. But I think Iranian culture is so deep rooted that this is why Iran changes religions so often. They went from Zoroastrian to Shia, and from Shia now they went from Zoroastrian to Sunni, Sunni to Shia, and now from Shia to no religion. I think because they have this deep sense of Iranian identity, that their religious identity is secondary to their Iranian identity.